parents constantly worrying about our children being, are they growing physically? Are they doing okay at school? Are they doing eating right? I hope the vitamins are okay. I hope vitamin C is going in, zinc is going in, all of that jazz. But somewhere we haven't addressed that unsaid part, which is the mental health, right, of our child. And I'm so glad that we're finally addressing it. And guys, most important, addressing it with a specialist, right? An expert who's meant for that topic. I know a lot of people give free gyan and everybody has their own ways of doing it. But at Kidstoppers, we always believe none of us are experts. We're all work in progress. We're all trying. We're all sharing our experiences. But when we need intervention, it has to be by somebody who's certified to handle and address that topic. And Dr. Shwetamra, thank you so much.
Anxiety needs treatment, right? So if there is significant amount of anxiety, let's just please be open to getting a counselor involved, because it's not, it's the emotion that we see and the symptoms or the manifestations that we see, but it comes from thoughts, and experts are equipped to be able to get children to understand, what those thoughts are, how those thoughts are irrational, etc., etc. So please remember that anxiety does need healing. It needs a lot of specialized work. That said, we of course have to try and cope with life, right? So I'd love to empower you with at least a few bits that can be done. Number one, don't be afraid of anxiety. I think a lot of parents themselves are so afraid of sending their children back out. What if this happens? What if that happens? So I think, and as a mom, I do understand that there are certain inhibitions, there are worries. So don't be afraid. Second, don't reject anxiety. Anxiety is, it's not at the face of it, not always an abnormal emotion. In fact, sometimes very, very helpful and constructive. So it's very important for us to understand. I might sound a little bit repetitive, but please do empathize. We've all felt anxiety. We've all felt out of sorts. So you know the feeling. You may not be in the same situation, but you know how anxiety feels. And so share that. Let them know that you know how they feel. And that is very helpful in forming the connect that I've been talking about repeatedly. I think conversations are very important. Do let them know that there will again be, a change, and how change can be good, how change can be challenging and difficult, and that you are there for them to always turn back to. The key will be listing out one or two helpful coping strategies. So if you feel like this is the adult you can reach out to. If you feel like that, these are some of the things that we can do. So talking about some 2 or 3 coping strategies and letting them have their pockets full of these ideas, I think that's very important. Stay patient through the whole process. Parents often, when they report their child being anxious in a session, I already sense a little bit of judgment, a little bit of rejection, a little bit of even guilt, where they feel they haven't done a good job. And anxiety has nothing to do, your child's anxiety doesn't have anything to do with you. This is your child manifesting and giving you the opportunity to actually find something that's hurting. Your child is trying to communicate something, and that is what is important. That is the focus, not you and what kind of parent you've been. So make sure that you isolate those 2 issues. And like I said, coping is the key. Once there is anxiety, all we need to do is find the right coping strategies for your child. And anxiety is easy to treat. So please do not lose hope. I think there's a whole generation of children who are facing this. So there'll be several examples to learn from, peer support groups, etc. But I have noticed that with children, anxiety, it always helps to prepare them a little bit beforehand of what to expect.
Right. And I love what you said, that as parents, we just treat our kids as report cards all the time. So if your child is really going through anything like that, it is not a report card on your parenting. So parents, please isolate yourselves from all problems. Like Dr. Shwetamra said.
I want to ask all parents who might be experiencing this kind of worry, this concern, that have you never taken your child to a candy store? How do they behave? Right? And then what do? We educate, we teach, and we tell them how much of it is accepted, how much of it we'll allow. And this is what we're going to have to do with gadgets, because our children have been put in front of them to be educated, to be able to have a play date, to be able to connect with grandparents. So we're putting them in front of it and expecting them at such such a vulnerable age to be able to make the sound judgment when, how much, how to do, how not to do. And that's not going to happen. So there has to be a lot of hand holding, lots of scaffolding that we need to provide to our children, consistent conversations, acceptance of these disturbing communications, where they come and say that this voice in my head is saying that. So I think just focusing on, hey, we all have that voice in our head that sometimes says irrational things. So I know that it's a tough thing to do, but stay centered. Don't lose your equilibrium when you observe things, hear your children say things that are so disturbing. I think it's incredible that your child is actually coming to you and stating something like this. So coming back to the gadgets, empowering your children with information on what are the do's and don'ts around gadgets. The second thing I want to say, that here it's absolutely fine to have rules and boundaries. Children do like boundaries. It gives them a sense of security and comfort. It just gives them clarity. You can't expect them, like I said, they don't have their prefrontal cortex developed till 21. You can't expect your 12-year-old to know what the gadget is going to do to him or her, in terms of the dopamine levels, so it's okay to have rules around it. You can have various ways of reminding them of those rules. There can be various negotiations and contracts signed over that. So get creative again. Children like the play way a lot. So make sure that you communicate those rules and boundaries clearly. I think during school days, it's also very important to let them know that school is now online, and so they're already exposed to screen for a significant period of time. So unfortunately, they will have to give up on entertainment, or the / whatever else they want to do on screen, even socializing on weekdays. And maybe some of it can be compensated on the weekends. So I think, like I said, right now, being assertive, being confident in making certain decisions around gadgets is very, very important. But of course, give them the explanation consistently, be patient, and be creative in your negotiations with your children.